Lakers, an alliance that the LA Times reports was forged 2 weeks ago in a secret meeting between the three superstars at LeBron's house. According to longtime Lakers beat writer Broderick Turner, Russ told LeBron and AD in that meeting he is okay playing off the ball to allow LeBron to initiate the offense, just as he did in Houston with James Harden. And in return, LeBron and AD volunteered to shift positions if that's what turned out to be best for the team, James moving to power forward, Davis playing more often at center. It's an interesting peek into how the Lakers plan to adjust now that they have acquired one of the most unusual talents in the game, a relentlessly competitive triple-double machine, a leader off and on the court who is motivated to play well at home, but who is also playing on his fourth team in 4 seasons, in part due to his shooting issues. That last part seems of particular concern for the Lakers, who finished this past season ranked 25th in the league in three-pointers made per game. In fact, LA's lack of shooting was such an issue that when earlier in the day yesterday, the Lakers seemed to instead be working on a deal to acquire Buddy Hield from Sacramento, that was hailed as a smart move. After all, only Steph Curry sank more three-pointers last season than Hield. The floor space he opens up is significant, or well, it would have been for LA. Instead, the Lakers chose to close the deal for Westbrook, which also prompted immediate questions about Bradley Beal's future in D.C. If Russ was jumping ship, was Beal next? Wizards GM Tommy Shepard has said absolutely not. And if you look closely at this trade, you certainly can see the threads with which Shepard intends to sew together a roster tailored around Beal. KCP is one of Brad's closer friends in the league. The trade also gave the Wizards more depth and the kind of cap flexibility that frankly seemed impossible just a year ago when Washington was facing 3 more years of John Wall's Supermax. Now, whether the plan works well enough to make Beal want to stay remains to be seen, as does whether the Russell Westbrook experiment works for the Lakers. All I know for sure is it was an absolute shocker, or as we call it in the NBA, just another day. Now, to discuss a little bit more on this, we want to bring in our senior writer, host of The Low Post, Zach Lowe. Zach, how do you think that Russ fits with AD and LeBron?
So at the risk of making Mr. Measles, Moody, Mahdi mad at me up there, I don't love this for the Lakers. I would rather, so I'm looking at an alternative where I could have Dennis Schroeder re-signed, Buddy Hield, keep KCP, maybe keep my pick. I'm probably doing that instead of Russ because it helps my depth and the shooting problems are going to be real. But look, the fact is we can talk about shooting and spacing and who's going to take the last shot and all this. These guys are 3 great players, and talent and smarts and just all-out ferocity can sometimes make up for not so great spacing, and the West does not have an overwhelming favorite anymore that you look at and say, you know, that's a team that's unbeatable. You know, Kawhi's injured, Jamal Murray's injured. So it's right there for the taking. They can still do it, but I don't love the fit. I would rather like that other fit with more shooting because here's one of the great axioms of LeBron's career. If LeBron is the best shooter on the floor, you haven't done a good enough job building around LeBron. Now, they'll get shooters. They'll probably bring back some of their own free agents, but the shooting is going to reach a critical level, and in the half court, this team's going to have to prove that it can score. But like Perk is going to say, Russ is a great player. They're going to figure a lot of it out. And to me, the question is not just the spacing, because the Lakers have played in bad spacing before. It's the volume of shots Russ takes and the volume of bad long twos he takes. Is he really going to commit to playing off the ball? Is he really going to set screens and cut and all that and not just stand around the three-point arc? Because we've heard that song before and we haven't seen it play out in real time. The Lakers are going to be great either way because LeBron and AD are great. I just like that first iteration with Hield, Schroeder, KCP, etc. a little bit better than this one.
Well, can we take a moment right now and recognize Zach Lowe with the new haircut, the new look? I see you, Zach Lowe, with the little bootsy fade, man.
First thing RJ said to him also.
He got the little bootsy fade on himself, looking real fresh right now. I just want to acknowledge you to that point first, Zach. But look, but listen, let me say this to you, okay? First of all, you might as well change the name, right? They're the Los Angeles Jeffersons, okay, because they're moving on up. Look, adding Russell Westbrook was huge, and that makes them the favorite to come out of the Western Conference. And in my eyes, that makes them the favorite to win the title. We keep talking about Russell Westbrook and his shot-making or shot-taking thing that we just keep painting this narrative about him. But he's led the league in assists 3 times throughout his career. He led the league in assists last year when he was playing with a whole bunch of G League guys. One thing that we do notice that Russell Westbrook hasn't played with a big like Anthony Davis. And if Anthony Davis can commit to playing the center position and him and Russell Westbrook is in a pick and roll, you better watch the hell out because you don't know how to stop it. Secondly, right, who did they just hire? One of our good friends, Fizdale. What did Fizdale coach LeBron at? With the Miami Heat. And who was with the Miami Heat? D. Wade and LeBron James. Are they both shooters? No. Actually, D. Wade shot like 33% from the three-point line. But they found ways to figure it out by cutting, by going to the mid-post area, by going on the low block, deep seals, things to that nature. You can surround them with shooting. Guys like J.J. Redick is going to be up in free agency. I'm pretty sure he'll take a call from LeBron James saying, hey, J.J., we need you. Sure, Bron, I'm on my way. I'm trying to win my championship. Don't you think, Zach Lowe? And you try to find a way to get rid of Dennis Schroeder, bring back some assets, right? Sign and trade. I don't know what the market value is. That's not my department. But what I will say that Russell Westbrook makes them the clear-cut favorites to come out of the Western Conference Finals. Western Conference. Let's make no mistake about it, right? And then you just got to go add a few pieces, some shooting, things to that nature. But look, you got David Fizdale over there, who was with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade when those guys were punishing people on the low block and learning how to cut and slash and play off of one another, getting out in transition. We'll see that happening. And by the way, they have the best player development coach in the game, and Phil Handy, that hasn't got his chance to put his hands on Russell Westbrook. Once he get Russell Westbrook in his space and in his area, he's going to correct that jump shot of his. I'm not saying he's going to come back shooting like, I was going to say Joe Harris, but I don't want to say Joe Harris because the way he was shot last year in the postseason. But he's not going to come back shooting like Steph Curry. But I guarantee you, Russell Westbrook, a guy that has been to the finals, he knows what it takes. When as a youngster is going to come back on a mission, he's going to put that key in Anthony Davis back where he can't take those possessions off. He's going to bring the best out of Anthony Davis. Laker Nation stand up. Magic Johnson is happy. Jenny Buss is happy. Everybody is happy, and as they should be, because the Lakers are the real deal.
Well, you and I see this exactly alike, Perk. They're not going to beat the Warriors. They're not going to beat the Nets yet. If you have to say who you like in that series, if everyone's healthy, it's still the Nets. But let's see what else the Lakers do. Let's see how they round out the roster. I'll say that I totally agree. People are over-concerned about fit and not just looking at what Westbrook brings to the team, which is a whole lot. And here's the thing I'm going to say, Stephen A., and I'm going to give it to you. The Lakers did this for a bunch of spare parts. I'm not saying they weren't useful. Montrezl Harrell, 6th man of the year type guy, like not a modern power forward, but like more of an old school power forward. KCP, maybe a starter on some teams, certainly a rotation piece. Kyle Kuzma, he is what he is. He's okay. He's an NBA player, also a rotation piece, really inconsistent. Those are spare parts. You can find guys like that every year in the offseason. You turned that into Russell Westbrook? My hat's off to you. Into Russell Westbrook? Let's not forget, every year, he's on a new team with new teammates. First half, he doesn't look so great. Second half of the year, he's an MVP candidate. Every single year. He's an MVP candidate in the second half. That is an amazing job the Lakers just did.
He's an MVP candidate. He is a future Hall of Famer. He is box office. He is a superstar talent in this game. And when it is all over, we will chronicle him throwing all of those laudables in his direction because he will have deserved it. We will miss him when he's gone. But while he's here, like I tell everybody, obviously I'm a soap opera fan.
You're a soap opera star. Don't bury the lead, okay? You're not a fan. You actually have a recurring. You have a role on it.
I defer to my brother like Eric Braden, who plays Victor Newman on Young and the Restless. I'll see you in a few days, buddy.
I hate gassing you up. You have a role.
Maurice Bernard, General Hospital star of General Hospital. I'm just in their world. I'm just trying, as Kendrick Perkins would say, I'm just trying to get a
Yeah, right. We're all in Stephen A's world. Isn't that a show on television?
Let me say this to you. It is a show on television. Let me say this to you. This is the part where it gets uncomfortable, more so for Perk than for Max, but I disagree with Max and Perk in this regard. Russell Westbrook is under immense pressure. I said that earlier. Said it to Kendrick Perkins on Get Up. I said it to you at the start of the show. I have in front of me the LA Times and the title of a column by the great Bill Plaschke, the voice of LA. What does it say? Would you like me to tell you the headline, Max and Kendrick Perkins? The headline, column, Russell Westbrook is welcomed home if he puts his new Lakers teammates first. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm saying? There is a narrative that exists. It wasn't created by me. It wasn't created. This is what they're saying, though, Max. When Kevin Durant and Ibaka and Reggie Jackson and Victor Oladipo and James Harden twice, not just once, and Paul George and Bradley Beal are your teammates, somehow, some way, you're going to be held accountable because of your greatness. Not because you're a scrub, because you're a greatness. When I ruffled feathers about Russell Westbrook, it's because I was saying, he's so great, I don't want to see you home in the first round. I want to see you deep into the playoffs. I want to watch you against the stiff competition. I want you right where you just landed, competing for a championship. Russell Westbrook was on the record. Yo, I'm going to do me. You understand? When we question how come Kevin Durant wasn't getting more shots, Russell Westbrook was on the record in Houston. Yo, I don't want to be here with James Harden. I ain't some damn sidekick. I want to play the way that I want to play. Russell Westbrook wanted to leave Houston because he wanted to play his way. Russell Westbrook wanted out of Washington, D.C. And before he departed, what did he say? Remember that say? When he came back? Championships don't mean that much to me. Yeah. I've seen plenty of champions that are less happier than me. A Los Angeles Lakers franchise, what are they synonymous with, Max and Perk?
Championships.
Yeah.
You don't get to have that attitude in L.A.
Stephen A., we're going to have much more on this in the coming weeks, but we got to talk about last night a little bit.
Sure.
I need